Hello, welcome to a new episode of Geek Lunch Beat. I'm your host Chris, as usual. Now, this wasn't the episode I was going to record. I've been working on repainting another Godzilla figure. I was going to bring in you that, but we'll leave that for another day because there has been some breaking Star Wars news. To be exact, it is a sort of surprise Star Wars movie that's been announced that's going to go into production later on this year. So I thought we'd take a look at that, and I'll bring you the Godzilla painting video later on. Don't forget, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, helps us out a great deal, helps the video be seen by a lot more people. And if you're not already subscribed, smash that subscribe button. We'd absolutely love to have you as a subscriber. Yeah, so today, Disney and Lucasfilm, sort of out of the blue a bit, have announced a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Now, I say it was a bit of a surprise. There were rumours going around for the last few weeks that the fourth season of the Mandalorian show was being retooled to be a movie, and it looks like those rumours turned out to be true after all. So I'll read you some of what the press release says about it, and then we'll get into it a bit deeper and see how it fits in with some other stuff. So we've got The Mandalorian and Grogu are embarking on a new adventure to movie theatres. Directed by Jon Favreau, produced by Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni, The Mandalorian and Grogu will go into production in 2024. I have loved telling stories set in the rich world that George Lucas created, said Favreau. The prospect of bringing The Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen is extremely exciting. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have ushered into Star Wars two new and beloved characters, and this new story is a perfect fit for the big screen, added Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. Mandalorian and Grogu will lead Lucasfilm's ongoing feature development slate, including films helmed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, James Mangold and Dave Filoni, who is also currently developing Ahsoka Season 2, among those in the works. This is the way. And they released it with a piece of artwork, which possibly is concept artwork from the new film, or possibly that could be from Season 2 of The Mandalorian. I'm not quite sure, because we have seen Mando flying on his jetpack holding Grogu like that before, but yeah, maybe it's a new piece of concept art. So yeah, let's unpack this a bit. We had previously been told that the Rey-centric movie set after Rise of Skywalker was the next Star Wars film we were getting, which was going to go into production this year. Now, obviously, with the writers' strikes and the actors' strikes last year, things have been put back. I did say in my video the other day, we're looking ahead at the films that are coming out this year, saying there was no Star Wars film this year, but the Rey movie was still sort of tentatively penciled in for December 2025, which I said sounded unlikely now because that's when Avatar 3 comes out, and that's two Disney properties. And obviously Avatar will be another $2 billion grossing movie. They're not going to want it going up against a Star Wars movie. So I said I imagined that the Rey movie would probably change dates. Now they've basically said the next film going into production is The Mandalorian and Grogu. It doesn't say that the Rey movie isn't going into production this year. They're obviously still working on it. But this has obviously taken preference. And it sort of does make sense. I said ages ago in a video talking about sort of future of Star Wars, I was surprised that they didn't just make a Mandalorian movie. This was sort of back when I think Season 2 was out, and it was sort of, the height of its popularity, and Grogu memes all over the internet, and obviously a massively popular character, sold loads of merchandise. I said that would be the ideal time to make a Mando movie. So fast forward a couple of years, and Lucasfilm's obviously decided, yep, let's go for it. You could argue it's possibly a little bit late. Mando Season 3 was a bit lackluster. It's sort of, everyone sort of agreed it was not as good as the previous two seasons. Back when sort of, remember the dark days of lockdown, Mando Season 2, we hadn't had a live action Star Wars film since 2019. This was the only new live action Star Wars we were getting, and everyone was really big into it. When Luke turned up at the end of Season 2, to me, that would have been the perfect time to have, capitalised and made a movie. You've then since got the Book of Boba Fett, which was a bit lackluster. Mando Season 3 was so exactly the same. Obi-Wan, again, there was some enjoyable moments in all of these shows, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed them. But, it's sort of diluting the Star Wars brand a bit. But it's easy to see why, Disney have now chosen to go the Mando route. They need a big win. I think it was announced the other day that 2023 was the first year, I think it was since 2015 or something like that Disney didn't, top the box office for the year. I think Universal overtook them. A lot of MCU films crashed and burned. Ant-Man, Quantumania, the Marvels especially absolutely shit the bed. Didn't make even a fraction of what the first film made. But yeah, Disney and and they want for their shareholders want an easy win, and it would seem that this, is probably the best way to go. It had been said for a while that all the sort of Disney Plus TV shows, were going to reach a sort of climax, which would be on the big screen. Did seem with Ahsoka, with Admiral Thrawn coming back into the galaxy, that this is all where it was headed. But who knows now? They've sort of thrown a spanner in the works on that. It does also, say also at the end of that press release that Dave Filoni is currently developing Ahsoka season 2, which that's the first sort of official word we've had that's going forward. Obviously, Ahsoka is still in the other galaxy. So this sort of sounds to me, the fact that it's called The Mandalorian and Grogu, it's going to be a standalone thing, and I think that's probably a good idea. Don't forget, season 3 finished with it was sort of the Mandalorian and Grogu living in peace in this little house. There was the sort of idea that they could go on bounty hunting missions if they wanted to, but they're very much their own thing now and can sort of do whatever they wanted. So yeah, it makes sense. Now would probably be the perfect time. I don't know, the title, The Mandalorian and Grogu, I don't know if that will change. Part of me thinks that's just a placeholder, but I can also see it's Disney saying, it's Mandalorian and Grogu. It does exactly what it says on the tin. All the people, even some of the people who don't watch religiously all the Star Wars programs, like we do on Disney Plus, know who Grogu is. So I can see maybe they will stick with that title. I also wonder, especially with it's Jon Favreau that is directing it. Obviously, he's worked using the volume, their big LED screen space that they use, to film the TV shows in. Obviously, he's done a lot of virtual motion capture work with The Lion King and The Jungle Book. So I wonder if they are going to produce this on a smaller budget. One of the main things of last year's films, Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, especially for Disney, even to the last Mission Impossible movie. Yeah, they made money, but their budgets were so high, it was nowhere near enough, to make a profit. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe they decided to do this film now at smaller costs, utilising the volume and that sort of technology. The only thing with that is, I hope it's good. It's good in what it does. It does have its limits. There are some fantastic shots in the TV shows where it's used really well. There are some other bits where you can tell that they're standing on a very small set piece with this big LED screen behind them. Now, obviously, a budget for a motion picture is going to be a lot higher than what they've been spending on the TV show, even though they do spend quite a bit of money on those shows. But I just hope they do some location shooting as well and really make it a big theatrical experience. Wouldn't surprise me if we see Luke turning up. The tech had advanced so much when Luke turned up in Book of Boba Fett. It was head and shoulders above when he appeared at the end of Mando season 2, not that long before. I think with the stand-in they've got for Mark Hamill and the AI they use, I think his voice is all done using a trained AI as well. Wouldn't surprise me if we see Luke turn up. He's a big fan favourite. It's exactly the sort of thing I can see Jon Favreau doing, especially if they want to continue Grogu's training, enhancing his his Jedi skills. Don't forget at this point in the timeline, Luke is putting together his new Jedi training temple. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see more of that. But so how this fits in with all the others? I'm assuming they've all been pushed back. The Rey movie that was meant to go in production this year, maybe it still will, but I think they were still working on the script. The James Mangold movie, which is going to be set thousands of years before, with the sort of birth of the Jedi and that sort of thing, had sort of no given timeline. And same with Dave Filoni's movie, which was going to bring all these TV shows together, but who knows with that now? Maybe they'll change that. So when do I see The Mandalorian and Grogu getting released? Maybe next summer. May 2025 might be too soon, but who knows? If it is going to be a smaller production, and utilising the volume and things like that, basically making a sort of bigger budget 2-hour TV episode, then I could think they could probably get it done in that time frame and get it out. I was glad that the press release mentions about it being a theatrical experience, which is good, because I did worry to begin with whether or not they would do a smaller scale movie and release it on Disney Plus. But no, it does look like we are finally getting some Star Wars back on the big screen. So there you have it. Mandalorian and Grogu is coming to the big screen at some point, directed by Jon Favreau. Are you excited? Did you want a Mandalorian movie? Did you want to see something else entirely different? Let me know in the comments below. Always good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Take care. Until next time, eat, geek, and be merry.